Have you ever felt lost when someone uses an English idiom? You're not alone. Mastering common idioms is a challenge for many English learners. But don't worry, today we're going to explore the meaning and usage of the idiom turn a blind eye to. Understanding this expression can help you communicate more effectively in English. Let's start with a funny story. Imagine a new employee at a company who is asked to turn a blind eye to some questionable practices. Thinking literally, she decides to physically cover her eyes whenever she sees something suspicious. Needless to say, this leads to some very awkward and comical situations. So, what does turn a blind eye to actually mean? This idiom refers to the act of intentionally ignoring or overlooking something, often unethical or problematic behavior. Now, let's see the idiom used correctly. Imagine a manager who notices some employees taking long breaks or using company resources for personal use. Instead of addressing the issue, she decides to turn a blind eye to their actions, as long as the work is still getting done. This allows her to maintain a positive work environment and avoid confrontation. Here are some examples of how you can use turn a blind eye to in different contexts. In a casual conversation, the neighbors have been throwing loud parties, but I've just been turning a blind eye to it. In a formal setting, the board of directors decided to turn a blind eye to the company's questionable accounting practices. In a negative context, the corrupt politician turned a blind eye to the bribery and corruption within his administration. In a humorous context, my messy roommate thinks I turn a blind eye to the state of our apartment, but I'm just choosing my battles. In a literary context, the king turned a blind eye to the peasant's pleas, focused only on his own lavish lifestyle. In a business setting, the CEO was forced to turn a blind eye to the company's unethical labor practices in order to maintain profitability. On social media, I try to turn a blind eye to the constant political arguments on my feed, but sometimes I just have to weigh in. To help you remember the meaning of turn a blind eye to, try picturing someone literally closing their eyes to avoid seeing something they don't want to acknowledge. This visual aid can serve as a mnemonic device to solidify the idiom's figurative meaning in your mind. Now, let's explore some fun facts about this idiom. The expression turn a blind eye dates back to the 19th century and is often attributed to Admiral Horatio Nelson, who is said to have put his telescope to his blind eye to avoid seeing a signal to stop an attack. The idiom highlights a complex social dynamic, where ignoring wrongdoing can sometimes be perceived as maintaining harmony, while in other cases it's seen as enabling harmful behavior. In some regions, similar idioms are used, such as close one's eyes to or look the other way. The idiom is exemplified in literature where characters ignore wrongdoing, such as authority figures overlooking mistreatment in society. Here are some idioms related to turn a blind eye to. Similar idioms: sweep something under the rug, gloss over something, ignore the elephant in the room. Opposite idioms: call out, confront, acknowledge. Related idioms: bury one's head in the sand, look the other way, close one's eyes to. Let's try using the idiom in a sentence. The company CEO turned a blind eye to the environmental violations, prioritizing profits over sustainability. Now, let's rephrase it without using the idiom. The company CEO ignored the environmental violations, prioritizing profits over sustainability. You can see how the meaning remains the same, but the idiomatic expression adds more nuance and color to the statement. Here's a real-life story that showcases the effective use of turn a blind eye to. A manager at a non-profit organization noticed that one of her employees was consistently arriving late and leaving early, but the work was still being completed on time. Instead of reprimanding the employee, the manager decided to turn a blind eye to the tardiness, as long as the quality of the work remained high. This approach helped maintain a positive work environment and built trust between the manager and the employee. Now, let's address some common mistakes and how to avoid them. Grammatical mistake: the politician turned a blind eye on the corruption. The correct usage is turn a blind eye to. Misunderstanding the meaning. Some learners may think turn a blind eye to means to actively look away from something, when it actually means to intentionally ignore or overlook it. Inappropriate context: using the idiom in a situation where it doesn't fit, such as I turned a blind eye to the beautiful sunset, would be incorrect. Let's test your understanding with a few multiple-choice questions. 1. What is the meaning of the idiom turn a blind eye to? A. To actively look away from something. B. To intentionally ignore or overlook something. C. To close one's eyes to avoid seeing something. Answer: B. 2. Which of the following is a synonymous expression to turn a blind eye to? A. Confront. B. Acknowledge. C. Gloss over. Answer: C. 3. Which of the following is an antonymous expression to turn a blind eye to? A. Sweep something under the rug. B. Call out. C. Ignore the elephant in the room. Answer: B. In summary, turn a blind eye to is a common English idiom that refers to the act of intentionally ignoring or overlooking something, often unethical or problematic behavior. Understanding the meaning and proper usage of this idiom can greatly improve your communication skills in English. Remember to use the visual aid of closing your eyes to help solidify the idiom's figurative meaning. And be mindful of common mistakes to avoid. Now it's your turn. Share your own experiences with using the idiom turn a blind eye to in the comments below. Try incorporating the idiom into a sentence of your own. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more English idiom lessons.